young. He was only 18. We believe in God and protection, and we prayed much and had churches, everyone praying for him, and always they'd pray for him at church. If a baby would cry at church, start to cry, well, she'd hear David and hand her over to him. When he gets up, well, he picked the baby up and he got up. I guess he, with his back turned to the wall and only about a foot space between them. See, we had this this bed sitting down inside of a water bed, big frame, and he gets up on the back side and not very much space between him and the wall there. And I guess he bumped it. He says, Grandmother, he hardly knew what happened because he was half awake and all. But he bumped himself, kind of lost his balance. He threw the baby back on the bed. And she had thrown the covers back. When he got up, he threw them back, and it landed on the covers and just rolled right on off. And when he saw what was happening, he's fast. He grabbed for the baby and got it with a little leg, but it had already, by that time, it was far enough down and hit that frame was sitting down on, but all of it was on the floor at the time, and hit his little head. And it had such a beautiful head of dark hair, and you couldn't see anything was wrong with it. It just had a little bruise on the cheek, was the only sign you could see where it was hurt. They brought it against him as child abuse and murder. First manslaughter, and then they called it murder.
I didn't have enough years and time and knowledge under my belt to be a father and be really supportive and foresee things coming and know what to do about it to shape a young person's life, to really be the pillar that I should have been.
Now my son is 18 and married, with a baby on the way. Half asleep, too tired to think an accident occurred. Now the baby's dead and the charges are red. Murder in the first degree. Now my son's in prison, wish I could set him free.
Well, when you're first coming in, that's what it makes you feel like. It makes you feel like that your life's on the line. That's the kind of positions they put you in. All those kind of threats come. I've been told that I'd be on TV. My folks would see me on TV, dead. Murdered in Limestone Penitentiary. So I've had my life threatened.
To eat and keep it on his stomach. And he had a homosexuals there and so forth. And he was afraid to go to the authorities because they had threatened him. And he didn't know what to do, so he called me. And I called a lieutenant immediately, and he moved David to a cell to himself. He didn't have a cell. He had to be out in the public with everybody. But they put him in a cell to protect him like that. And they moved him from that dorm to another place. So David was recuperated and was much happier.
I hope that those kind of experiences, being pimped out and the homosexual activity and such as that he's had to deal with in there, I hope that's something that when he gets out, he can put behind him, not have to talk about it or bring it up and just, let it die in his past and, kind of start fresh from day one when he gets out and create a new respectable life,
Because, I never had a father, you know what I'm saying? But I always wanted a father. I like turning guys out. As far as being turned out already, especially by family members, I kind of felt sympathy for them.
I was probably about 6, and that happened with a family member,
Cousin.
uncle.
But at the time that the discussion, we got into the discussion about it, and I asked him, if Jimmy had been uh, touching him or messing with him, like he shouldn't have been. And he said, yeah, he chases me around the room, stuff like that. So I had to believe at that point he was telling me the truth, but David didn't come to me with any request for me to do anything specifically to the situation.
I mean, just imagine, man, you meeting a guy, you know what I'm saying? He's telling, hey man, my father fucked me when I was 5 or 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? It kind of touched me because see, I have a daughter, and I just couldn't see doing nothing like that. It more so even made me want to be there for them. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they were a weaker guy in prison. Guys run over them and abuse them and dog them out. So that it made me want to step up. You know what I'm saying? And be like a shield for them.
They might test you with horse playing, wrestling, you know what I'm saying? They might test you with little games like, just playing games like let me feel on they might say something like let me feel on your pussy or whatever and see how he respond to it, you know what I'm saying? And they might try it anyway, do it and see what he do, you know what I'm saying, once does that. If he don't show, you know what I'm saying, no real stand, then you know what I'm saying, then they'll wind up, he'll wind up being a boy.
If you go against, maybe what your man wants or however, then that's whenever you broke the rules. You went against it, and there's always gonna be it's from the old school. There's severe consequences for that.
Prisons in the South, a white guy pretty much has it hard. You know, uh, he'll be tested much quicker than a black inmate. You know,
There was this guy who was here before. He was a blood, and in Alabama, you know what I'm saying, a lot of places, you know what I'm saying, they don't believe in a white guy being a blood.
Yeah, that was the second part of the unedited version of the documentary. I'm gonna upload the third part here in a little bit. Uh, hopefully y'all enjoy it. And I'm trying to cut it off to where they begin the other story. Like right now, they're gonna start talking about the white blood, and that's a whole different video. But it's still it still begins on the other part of the video, so I have to chop it off right there and begin from there and go from the other one. So I'll drop the next one here in a little bit. Y'all enjoy it. Once again, we're gonna go live here in a little bit later on tonight with Bobby and Youngblood. We're gonna be talking prison politics, how they do it in Alabama compared to Texas. Bobby has not only has Bobby been in Texas federal state prisons, but he's also been in federal prisons. So he knows how both function in the politics on both uh I guess societies, because their societies, each one's different, state and federal. Okay, thank y'all so much. Y'all enjoy the show, and we're gonna continue this. Y'all have a good one.